Because when you introduced us initially, it's what's in it for water department globally. But when you told me what's in it for me, yesterday specifically, you took time to explain what's in it for me, how I'm going to be involved in that, and what kind of difference I can make to make this success. He says, I want to continue.
Today, I'm excited to welcome Alen Ganic to the show. Now, I've known Alen for many, many years, and was fortunate enough to have Alen come into the studio here in Keller, Texas, and we recorded this on our audio rooms, and it's always a blast when we get to do that. And Alen is full of lots of stories, and in fact, we featured Alen in the city of Grand Rapids in a Gemba Academy Live episode a few years ago, and we're going to go ahead and unlock that full episode. So when you scroll down on the show notes page, you're going to see a link to that. So I want everybody after this podcast to go watch that episode because they did some amazing work, and Alen was really leading that charge. And in fact, one of the stories that Alen tells here in the podcast is how they made improvements in the water department there, the city of Grand Rapids, and then they were able to take the savings and pass those on to the citizens. And like, how amazing is that? So anyhow, lots of great conversation. Talked a lot about different types of motivation and why Alen and myself are so motivated by the human aspects of lean. So super, super good stuff. So this is going to be episode 521. So go to gembapodcast.com, look for episode 521. Okay, enough for me. Let's get to the show. Alen, welcome to the studio here at Gemba Academy. How's it going?
It's going well. Thank you for having me.
Man, thanks for coming in for the interview, man. We were talking, I just love doing these interviews in person and being able to just look across and see the person. So it's awesome.
It's great to be here. It's a great studio. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, listen, Alen, I know you know the drill of the show. We like to get things going right out of the gate with our guest sharing a quote. So what do you got?
So today I would like to share 3 quotes. Okay. I have 3 favorite quotes.
Overachiever.
First one I'm going to share from Mother Teresa. I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. Together we can do great things. I love that quote. Another one I would like to share is from Henry Ford. I'm a big fan of Henry Ford. Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is success.
Nice.
And the last one, the author is unknown. I tried to find the author, and they said they don't know who mentioned this first. But what gets measured gets done.
What's that one mean to you? I mean, kind of short words, but there's a deep meaning.
So there's a deep meaning there. If we want to achieve something, the best thing is to measure it. What is our goal? Where do we want to be? And where are we at right now? And over the years, being a lean practitioner, I have noticed that when we start measuring our production, measuring our outcomes, people get motivated more to achieve that goal. And they have a target. They know where they need to go, and they know where they're at. So that's kind of what it means to me. What gets measured gets done. Man,
one of my favorite memories back in my sort of pre-Gemba Academy corporate days, I was in England actually, working with this company, and it's a smaller company. They were making these valves, that went into like pumps and all this kind of stuff. And there was this little assembly area, and it was actually a one person assembly area, and they had made a little U-shaped cell, and the guy was doing some nice stuff, and it was looking pretty good. And I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" He said, "Good." I said, "What's the plan for today?" And I said, he looked at me, "What do you mean?" I was like, "What? Well, how many are you supposed to do?" You know? He's like, "Well, just kind of as many as I can, I guess." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went to the supervisor. It's like, "Do you have like a plan, like what you need to do today?" "Oh yeah, we got to get this meeting done." I'm like, "Hey, he doesn't know." I said, so, and I looked over there, and there was this little whiteboard just like not being used, just laying against the wall. And I said, "Can we just hang out over there?" And then I said, "So by like lunchtime, we should get," I can't remember what it was, 15 done by lunch, and then another 15 by the end of the day. Yeah, that'd be great. I said, "Hey, how about this? So I guess you got to do 30 today. And so we're going to aim for 15 by lunch and 15 by, is that cool?" He goes, "Oh yeah, that's easy." And come to find out, productivity lifted in this area literally starting that day because the person just didn't know what was expected. you know, and people want to inherently win. And I think that's the power of visual management and keeping score is, if you walk out and you ask someone, are you winning or are you losing? And they can't answer, you got a problem, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right. Well, hey, tell us a little bit about your background, Alen, and how you got involved in continuous improvement and what you're up to these days.
So my background in Lean, I started in auto manufacturing industry. First time I was introduced in Lean, it was in late 90s, where I saw some Lean practices, but I didn't practice much at that time. That organization was very new. In about 2000, I was working for a Magna Mirror. And Magna Mirror was losing a lot of money on a monthly basis, and they had two options for us. One option was to do lean transformation, complete lean transformation, and the other one is to move the jobs out of Michigan, small town low in Michigan, outside the country. And so we obviously, all of us say, we want to keep the jobs here. We want to learn this lean. And it took us 2 years. So there were lean practitioners who came and taught us how to implement lean from ground up. And I was one of those people who volunteered to be part of that team, transformation team. So I learned lean at Magna Donnelly on the floor for about 2 years.
Nice. So then I know, just because, well, you've even been on some of our videos, that you did some work in the government service and all that. So walk us through that. Like, what was your experience there?
Yes. So after I learned lean, you get excited. You want to show off. You want to take that somewhere else. So I went back to my old employer. They were able to bring me back. And that's when I introduced in another manufacturing environment, Plastic Talent Corp at that time, and worked there for a couple of years, made some significant improvements, built out a warehouse, made an assembly line. There was a warehouse for Ford Edge and Lincoln MKX vehicles. They just started building those. This was a concept vehicle. After that place closed down, I decided to look for another job. Because they filed for bankruptcy, and there's a good reason why they did, even though we did fantastic job in the Grand Rapids area, all three plants. I found a job, friend of mine who worked for the mayor at that time. He says, Alen, there's opportunity with the city of Grand Rapids to run a parking operation and to manage a security team. They're all criminal justice students. They're going through college, and that's their part-time job. And I said, I don't know that this is a job for me. I love lean manufacturing. I'm really passionate about it. He says, that's why I'm calling you. They need a lean practitioner, a person that knows lean, because the mayor has told all his managers here at City of Grand Rapids that we need to do a lean transformation, and we need to bring lean to government. So that's what happened. I went to Parking Services for an interview. It took me 6 months to get hired. The process was very long. But at the end of the line, at the end of the time, I did get that lean not the lean job. It was parking operations and managing security team. But the reason really, later I asked my boss why she chose me. There was like 80 some candidates. So out of 80 some candidates, she picked me. I said, I don't think that I'm the best one. Why did you pick me? She said, one big reason is that you have lean experience, and our mayor and city managers are pushing us to do lean transformation in all city departments to learn about it and implement it. And I need that help and assistance. And that's how I started working for the city of Grand Rapids, where I spent 14 and a half years.
Do you know, how did the mayor discover lean? They read a book or have a background in it? Do you know?
Actually, I do. A mayor went to one of the conferences, and people were talking about lean and how can lean be applied anywhere in government, healthcare, education, not just in the manufacturing. And he said he was one of those good mayors that wants to always improve and do good for the people, right? So he said, hey, this is eliminating waste in the process. We all have process. It doesn't matter if you're in manufacturing, government, healthcare. Everybody has to do a job, and there's a process involved. And inside that process, there's a value added, non-value time. And that waste is not validated, and he wanted it to improve some of the processes within the city of Grand Rapids. And that's why he was excited about it. And he told actually Eric DeLong at that time, he was assistant city manager. He told Eric and CFO at that time, Scott Buer, he told them both, I need you guys to go learn lean and bring lean to the city of Grand Rapids.
So we did a Gemba Academy Live episode. Well, this has been a few years ago.
Yes.
That we did that. And I think what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and open that up. It's you can watch the first video of any of our courses and series without a subscription, but we have the ability to go and unlock everything. So I'm going to unlock this whole City of Grand Rapids Gemba Academy Live. So I want everybody listening to go scroll down and you'll see the link. And when we get done with this podcast, go watch or start chipping away. Because one of the things that I remember, it's been a while since I watched it, but there was one with the water department.
Yes.
Where you talk about that one and you actually pass the savings on and all that.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes, I do remember. So in water department, the goal, this was my first job as inventory and asset manager. They didn't have that position. I did some improvement with the team. At parking services, my boss liked it. She got promoted and she needed assistant of consolidating warehouses. And water department was the first one. They want to get rid of one of the older buildings and consolidate operations and stockroom warehouse operation into one building. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got involved into it. They created that position for me, inventory and asset manager, and it was one of my first projects in that position. And what we did, that warehouse was packed already. I mean, you couldn't put a needle in it. And now I'm supposed to bring with my team all the products from another warehouse, which was a few miles away from the current one. And we had to bring it in. So what we did, we followed the lean philosophy, introduced that to that team. We 5S'd the entire warehouse with management involvement and all the staff members. So we completely gutted it down and eliminated stuff. We made, actually, believe it or not, over $100,000 in profit by selling scrap.
Wow.
And that was between the water department stockroom and what we scrapped from the North Yard. We called it a North Yard, and that was part of the water department system. So over $100,000. So that was one of the achievements that we showed when we did the report out. And then the other thing is, after we consolidated everything, it took us, this is a big project. It took us over a year to consolidate everything, to create an ABC analysis, reorder points, min-maxes, create zones of responsibility, 5S. We really, truly did our best to bring lean into this warehouse environment. And at the end, I remember, this was one of my really success stories from City of Grand Rapids. I remember the accountant calling me to the office and saying, can you come to my office? And this was in water department. And I went to her office. She said, I have some great news to share with you. I said, okay, what is going on? She said, for the first time in a very long time, we're going to reduce water rates. I said, okay, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. What does that have to do with me? She said, well, you and your team last year have spent less, about $500,000 or more, less than what we have spent in previous years. She said, so here's how accounting works. She said, less we spend on purchasing material to stock, less we're going to ask from our water ratepayers. So she said, this is not the only reason. There were other factors involved in that, but it was very nice to hear that from her.
So you basically got to lower people's bill.
Yes. And this is a true story. I went to my uncle, to visit my uncle and aunt, and they were joking. They knew that I worked for water department for City of Grand Rapids, and they were just joking. Hey, my water bill went down, He said, thank you, Alen. He was joking, to be honest with you. And I told him, oh, my dear uncle, I said, believe it or not, me and my team have impact in it. So I'll take that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wow. That's so cool, man. Like, how great did that feel to know that, first of all, you made something better, which is that in and of itself is a win. But man, all of your people in your town benefited from your work. That must have felt amazing.
It feels amazing. In the private sector, people get promotions, get bonuses when you make big breakthroughs and achievements. In government entity, there's no such thing. So people have to be self-motivated
Yeah.
to work for government, number one. And this is my bonus. This is the bonus of government employees.
Yeah.
To get something like that where people are going to benefit, that's a great feeling. You
Yeah.
go home, tell your family, tell your friends, brag about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it makes you feel good inside that you did something for your own community that the entire community is not going to benefit, not just you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So cool, man. So cool. All right. So let's say, people right now listening in private sector, public sector, everything in between. So if someone's listening from, let's say, the public sector, okay, what should they do to introduce lean, continuous improvement, that sort of thing? And most importantly, once they build it, to not have it fall apart.
Sure. And that is the biggest problem, as we know, sustaining anything.
Yeah.
You make improvements. I tell people it's easy.
Yeah.
Sustaining it is hard.
Yeah.
That's where you show your strength. First thing that I would tell people in the public sector, especially, is you have to get a buy-in from the top. Every project that I did for the city of Grand Rapids, I always went to the top and tried to get the buy-in. Next step is, in the process of getting that buy-in from the top, you have to tell that person what's in it for them. They have to understand what's in it really for them so they can see a bigger picture. After you get the buy-in from the top, it gets a lot easier down the door. So what I found out working all these years in a government entity is it's very hard to start from the bottom, implementing lean. But when you start from the top, it's a lot easier. And here's why. So we know in lean, we like the pull system, right? People pull. I think that at the beginning, when introducing, especially in the public sector, you have to do a push at the beginning. You have to go to the top person, and they have to push that down and tell, hey, you need to participate in this, need to learn. And believe it or not, and I know in some of the videos, I don't know if it's in yours on the YouTube, like with the forestry department, people were exactly saying those words. My manager told me I got to work with this Alen Ganic. Didn't know what Gamba is, didn't know what lean is, had to Google it, and was not really impressed about it, He doesn't have experience in my work area, and he's going to come here and help us out. But then when the people get exposed to lean, then they're going to get buy-in, and you're going to have a hard time taking that away from them. So that's the first thing. The other thing I would recommend is to start small and quick wins, to celebrate those successes. So you got to start small, get some quick wins, celebrate those successes with the team. And here's why. When you have quick wins, and people celebrate, like you were talking about that achievement that my team and I had, reducing the water rate for the water ratepayers in Grand Rapids. That felt good. We're humans, right? So you want other people, your team members, to feel good. They can see this really works. We did a small project. I see this is benefiting me, most importantly, but not only me, everybody else on the team, and maybe possibly the organization. So that's really important, to get some quick wins and get some celebrations.
Talk a little bit more about this one, though, because the warehouse thing, that's not a quick win, right? It took you a year,
yes.
Right? But were there quick wins in that initiative?
Yes.
That get some momentum?
Yes.
Give us some examples of a quick win.
So you said that you will open up a Gamba Academy where you came and recorded some of our successes in water department or City Grand Rapids. So what the audience is going to see, the quick win that I had in water department is I have to introduce this to the team. And nobody, trust me, nobody but my boss believed in that. She saw it because I have done things in parking operation and for security, but people in water department didn't know what lean is, didn't want to do nothing with it. They just have a busy work and want to go on with it. So the quick win I had is introducing 5S. I'm one of those people that starts with 5S. So the team that I had in water department, we picked an area. And there was a one repair shop inside the stockroom where they fixed the valves, water meters, take them apart and stuff like that. And they had a workbench. They had some saws and stuff like that. It was a mess. Okay. And what I did, I decided to pick that small area and teach people 5S and 8 deadly waste. Back then it was 7. And to be honest with you, I used your videos 100%. So I used to be, when I worked for government, big user of Gamba Academy.
Yeah.
Anyone listening, I would recommend. I mean, I'm not, and it's not a commercial, but seriously, I used your videos.
Yeah.
And why did I use your videos? Because your videos are short. I loved it. 5, 10, 15 minutes. I can show my team. I can translate some of your stuff that you said in the video and said, well, how does that apply?
Yeah.
Ron said this in the manufacturing. How does it apply here in government?
Yeah.
I would translate it quickly to them. But we use those videos and we would pause, stop. We do 1S. We're teaching 1S. We use your quizzes. You know, I didn't have to redo anything, reinvent the wheel. I just used what you had. I said, let's do this. And then we go and do applied 1S. Then they get the idea of 1S. I said, stop. Let's go back to the conference room and learn about 2nd S. And we watch your video. We have a discussion. And then we go apply. So we went through that all 5 S's. And then at the end of the this week-long Kaizen event, we had a report out where we brought my manager, we brought an assistant city manager, CFO, I think at that time, a water department manager, of course, and we brought them to celebrate this one quick win. And what the team did, basically, you can open the drawer, and you'll see in your videos, audience will be able to see, you can open the drawer, at the glance, you can see what's missing, what's not. At the glance, less than 5 seconds, we made it so that at less than 5 seconds, you can just walk around and see what's out of the place. And that's what I showed the team and all these managers, says, hey, this is just a small example here in the corner. This is what we're going to do with the entire warehouse. And then we had some people that were using that area be part of our team, and they had the chance to speak up and tell the audience how they're going to benefit from it and what they have learned during the process. So when I did this, I did the least amount of talking during the report out. The entire team was talking about the success and what they did.
Nice. Perfect. Got it. Okay. So quick wins, get some momentum, get people fired up. What else?
Next thing I would like to mention that you need to focus on the process improvement from the customer view, not from your view. How's your customer? It doesn't matter if it's internal customer or external. In water department, for example, it was an internal customer. We wanted to see how can we deliver product from the warehouse to our internal customer, people that fix pipes out on the streets, and how can we get them in and out as quick as possible? How can we make sure that we have the parts that they need and tools? So you need to think when we designed that warehouse, we were thinking from the customer perspective, not our perspective. What's easier for us to manage the inventory and make it look good? No, what is important for customer? So we did a lot of spaghetti diagrams, watched our customers, for example, getting their own parts. And we saw that we did not kit it properly. And then we involved them and says, hey, this warehouse looks awesome, not very functional. I see you walking from this aisle to the next aisle, and you spend 30 minutes getting parts, and now you're going to go out. So we involved the team. You need to involve people that you are working on improving their process. It's very important to involve them in that process. And then you're going to benefit from that much more.
Got it. Okay. What else?
Next one, I would say you need to measure. Measure your desired goal versus your actual. That's why I shared that goal. I'm a big believer.
Yeah.
Even I worked for a little bit later. Before, while working with Cigarettes, I did some consulting, lean consulting, and I would go visit these different manufacturing places. And when I walk in and people, like he said, they don't know what the goal is for today. They don't know what the hourly goal is. That's the first thing I do. 5S and then visual management by measuring, creating some KPIs, hour boards, so you know where you need to be every hour or every day. Yeah. And if there's anything that people take from this episode, if you're not on top of your visual management, even in an office, like our sales team, they'll have thermometers on goals that, whether it's a sales goal or how many people you talk to in a day or something like that, what's the plan? What's the actual, right? Yes. And it sounds so commonsensical, and it is, but so many people don't do it. Exactly. And lean is all common sense. People, when I teach people lean, they say, Alen, at the end of this, training session, this is all common sense. I said, yes. But have you practiced? I said, no. It never occurred to me because I was busy. Yeah, exactly. What is your approach, Alen, when maybe you meet some resistance from folks who, need to be sort of convinced that we should do this, or, sometimes we'll talk about the people who are actively against it, but sometimes, you can sort of work with them because you know where they stand.
maybe sometimes it's those people who are in the middle, right? They're not against it, but they're not excited about it. They're just kind of like, Like, how do you approach them? Like, how do you get them bought in?
That is an excellent question. I'm going to use now water department since we're talking about water department. There was a gentleman on my team who didn't like lean. Watching those videos, he didn't like Japanese words like gamba, kaizen, and so on. He said, "This I don't understand this," so we untranslated for him. But he was very resistant to the point where he came to me after the first couple sessions that we had. Every day we had like 2-hour sessions where we learned and go apply what we learned. He came to me and says, "Alen, I don't think I'm the right fit for it. I don't like this. I don't believe in this." Okay. And I gave him a chance. I said, "Hey, here's what's in it for you. This is why I can tell you how it will benefit you. Not just here at work. Yeah, you'll do some great things here at work, but this can benefit you at home, in your garage, in your truck, in your home office, and so on." So when I explained to him from what's in it for him, then I got him bought in. That's one thing I did. And the third day of that week, I did not plan to have him, to be honest with you. So we started a session. There he is coming in my office. I said, "Is there something wrong? We're in the training session." He said, "No." He said, "I'm back." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, you explained to me what's in it for me. Because when you introduced us initially, it's what's in it for water department globally. But when you told me what's in it for me, yesterday specifically, you took time to explain what's in it for me, how I'm going to be involved in that, and what kind of difference I can make to make this success." He says, "I want to continue." So that's very, I think, important to explain people what's in it for them. The other thing is what I use, and this is my tactic that I trick people, is when I see somebody really resisting, I make him like a head of the team. I make him a head of the team.
Yeah.
So the same individual, he was the team leader.
Okay.
So I was his coach. I said, "I'm your coach and mentor. When it comes time to the presentation, I won't do anything. I will not tell you how to do it. I'm going to teach you 5S tools and other things like daily waste, but I will not tell you how you guys are going to do this. And you're going to be the team leader." So he was excited about it.
Wow. That's so good. Yeah, I know I've told this story before, but I had the same thing many years ago. I was in Sulphur Springs, Texas at a facility, and this gentleman had his arms crossed in the back room and scowl on his face. And I was like, "Oh boy, here we go." And anyhow, we involved him. My strategy was maybe similar, but maybe a little different. It's like, I kind of just ignore him. Right? And not to involve them. "Hey, what's your name?" Blah, blah, but don't pick on them. Don't anything like that. But then my strategy is, when we get out to the shop floor, in this gentleman's area, it was his work area, that we were in. That's why he was on the team. I'd be like, "Hey, how does that work?" "Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, okay. How could we make that better?" "Well, we could do that." "Oh, good idea. Write that down, guys." And we started listening to him. Anyhow, jump to the end, the report out. 5 days later, this guy gets up. He's an older gentleman. Maybe he was going to retire in, 4 or 5 years. The dude he didn't like ugly cry, but he teared up in the report out. And he said, in the however many years he's worked at this facility, no one has ever listened to my ideas like this team listened to my ideas, and man, it was moving, and I remember thinking to myself, that's what this stuff's really all about. We can say it's about tools or people, but when you change someone's sort of perception on this thing, and like that dude was bought in, man, from then on, right? Like that, we potentially change someone's life, right? To orient their mind towards making things better. Like that's beyond any sort of monetary recognition or anything like that. So yeah, super powerful, man.
100% agree with you. And those people, believe it or not, what I have seen for the past 24 years practicing lean, they become champions of lean. They become the biggest champions of lean and spreading lean throughout the department.
Yeah, man, for sure. Hey, man, just to wrap up a little bit, I'm wondering if you could just, I don't know, if you have any sort of just general, you've been around and done so much, Alen, and in different types of companies and seen so many things. Like, what if you could just leave people with some encouragement or some advice, especially those people who are maybe thinking about getting going with this. Like I know you go through and, you gave some ideas already, but just general encouragement. What would you say to those people?
What I would say to the people, we're all humans, and the best feeling is when you have another human. Bonuses are great. Incentives are fine. We all like them. We're humans. But the biggest incentive to me is when you improve somebody's environment, when you improve somebody's process, when you help somebody alleviate some obstacles and bottlenecks, issues, problems. That is the best satisfaction that you will get.
Yeah.
And lean philosophy, when I learned lean, first initially, to be honest with you, I was against lean, but I was young at that time. I was in my 20s, and I wanted to learn something more. I always wanted to learn till today. And after I really got to lean, I says, I will never, ever, ever leave lean philosophy. Why? It's all about people, helping people, and gives me that satisfaction at the end of the day. When you go home, when you go with your families and spend time, and you did some great things at your work, working with your colleagues, and made some improvements using some of the lean principles and tools. It's a great satisfaction sitting at the table with your family talking about it or sharing with your friends and family. I think that is what motivated me. It's my personal motivation, and that's what I have. Speaking to other lean practitioners, they share the same story.
Yeah.
That's where they stuck with lean. This is not about tools. It's not about saving money.
Right.
This is not. We don't even talk about that initially. That's the outcome.
Yeah.
But we don't say, hey, we want to save this. We want to die. No, that's the outcome. We want to improve the process. We want to remove any issues and problems on the way. We don't call them problems in lean, just, we call them opportunities for improvement.
Yeah. Obstacles.
Obstacles,
maybe. Yeah. Yeah, man, for sure. Oh man, so good. Well, hey man, I really appreciate you coming in for this, Alen. It's been a blast. I think we're going to go grab some lunch now, man.
Yes.
But hey, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way? LinkedIn and my email. Those are two things that I check on a regular basis. And if people are just listening, spell your name, Alen.
Alen, A-L-E-N, last name Ganic, G-A-N-I-C.
Okay. And then obviously everyone just scroll down on your app there, and we'll link up to Alen's social media, so everybody go connect with him. And hey man, keep up the great work, and thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening. Whether you've been on the continuous improvement journey for many years, or perhaps you're just getting started, Gemba Academy is here to support you. And while we're best known for our more than 1,500 Lean and Six Sigma teaching and virtual tour videos, we also have a team of experienced Lean and Six Sigma practitioners available for one-on-one coaching, as well as a variety of Lean and Six Sigma certification options. To learn more and to schedule a demo, head on over to gembaacademy.com.